Hello again, Tigers. This is Mr. Pope with today's Magic Minute. Next to me on the screen, a familiar face to many of you. It's a gentleman who has many noteworthy distinctions. He is an astronaut. He is one of the last of a group of astronauts to have flown space shuttle missions before that program was retired. He's one of two astronauts to have made history by flying the first commercially funded space expedition. He has logged many hundreds of hours of space time in multiple space expeditions, including many hours of spacewalk time. And on top of all that, he retired from the Air Force, a colonel. And you're not necessarily retired though right now. We're very honored to have Colonel Bob Behnken with us for today's Magic Minute. How are you doing, Colonel Behnken?
I'm doing great, Mr. Pope. Thanks for that wonderful introduction.
It is my pleasure, and again, my pleasure to have you on. If you are ready to go, we will start your Magic Minute right now.
Go.
Once you got to space, what did you wish you'd brought along but forgot at home?
Well, I actually wish I could have brought my 6-year-old son with me to orbit. I think that if you asked him, he would say that's probably the one thing I forgot was to take him along.
Very good. Okay, what was the most difficult thing for you about living in space?
As an astronaut, I think the most challenging thing is being prepared for anything, whether that's launching on a rocket, coming back on a capsule, through the atmosphere, conducting spacewalks, doing various science activities, speaking a little bit of Russian as required. There's just so many things that you need to be able to do and be ready to do at a moment's notice. That's the biggest challenge.
Excellent. Okay. Next question. In your expert opinion, what's more dangerous, the takeoff or the landing?
It's a great question as to what's the most dangerous, takeoff or the landing. I personally think the landing is the most challenging, and it's because we don't do it as often. We launch satellites pretty regularly. SpaceX or otherwise have put a lot of things into orbit, but we rarely bring things back through the atmosphere, take all that energy out that we put in to get it into orbit. So doing that safely is something we don't have as much experience with. And so that makes it a little bit more dangerous.
Okay. Since you are the closest I'll probably ever get to anyone who really knows the truth, what's up with Area 51? I mean, what's going on over there? You can tell me. I promise to keep it a secret. Talk to me about Area 51.
If I knew what was going on with Area 51, I would certainly share it with the world. But having flown over it on board the International Space Station, I didn't see anything up.
Okay, fair enough. All right, what was the biggest challenge when adjusting to life back on Earth after you returned?
The biggest challenge when you come back home is getting back to the routine of your life. You're used to, everybody supporting you on board the International Space Station, doing as much as they can to make your mission successful. And you need to come back home and you need to take the trash out. You need to do all the things that get done at your household to be a contributing member to that society, not just the one that you were a part of on board the International Space Station.
Okay, very good. Okay, subsequent to your big trip, do you have anything to say to the flat earthers out there?
The Earth is round. I tweeted that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's a big mystery for some people. So we appreciate your expert input.
I took a picture of Florida and you can see the curvature. I don't know what else to tell you. You can't make folks believe everything,
Okay. Okay.
I always say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't water boredom.
Okay. So what was the first thing you wanted to do once you got back home?
For me, it was to hug my family. I mentioned I hadn't brought my son along, and I missed him during the few months I was on orbit. Of course, my wife and everybody else. With the age of COVID, my dad wasn't able to travel to the launch, and I really wish he would have been able to come down and see it. But got to talk to him shortly after coming back home, and that was great as well.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Wrapping it up here. What is your favorite thing about being an astronaut with NASA?
My favorite thing about being an astronaut is to share the experience with other folks, whether it's talking about the launch into space, coming home, conducting the spacewalks, the things you can see on the Earth's surface, just how wonderful it is to be able to see the Earth below you when you're in low Earth orbit, just how mesmerizing it is, the opportunity to fly and as you float around the International Space Station, all those things and sharing them with folks, I think is the most amazing thing.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, and the final, most important question of the day, Colonel Bob Behnken, what day is it?
It's a great day to be a Travis Tiger.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Colonel Behnken, we really appreciate you taking the time to be on with us today.
Happy to do it, Mr. Pope.